Okay, hello and welcome to another episode of my new show, Hiring and Inspiring, a show where we talk all things sales, recruitment, business, leadership, everything in between. Now, this week, got a special guest, my colleague and good friend, the one and only Levina Yu. Welcome to the show, Levina. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, Joe. How you going? Pleasure to be on here.
I'm doing well, and yeah, no, thanks very much to have you on. It's great to looking forward to this chat. So, intro into Levina. Levina, you are a Sunny Coast girl originally. You grew up on the coast, and then moved to Sydney a few years back. Is that right? And
Yes.
then
Yeah.
worked a little bit in Sydney, studied in Sydney, and then got into recruitment and started working with us at BMS about 6 months ago.
Yeah, around about that. I think it started around like September last year.
So still quite sort of, if you don't mind me saying, quite new into the role and into your journey in recruitment compared to my guest the other day, Adam, recruitment veteran, Ravina, a little bit of a newbie, but just on the contrary to that, you've come in. You've only been a few months, but it feels like you've been here a long time. Just as the way you've taken to it, and made a really good start with your career with us. So that's just a little intro. Sorry, into Levina. I guess just first question from me: how's it all going? Like, how are you finding the new job with us?
Honestly, I'm loving it. I'm sure we've had our little catch-ups here and then before we even started this chat. I always really love working here from the get-go. I was a little bit nervous when I started in recruitment again in September.
Yeah.
Took a little bit of a month break from it then, and then got back into it. And you guys made it really supportive, made it a really comfortable place for me to start my recruitment journey.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. And I guess I don't think I've ever really sort of asked you this, but how and why did you sort of initially get into recruitment? Because you were sort of finishing up your studies. How did it? How was it? How did it all sort of play out that you came into the world of recruitment?
I mean, it does have a little bit of relatable to what I was studying. I was studying
Yeah.
HR, and
Mm.
then I've always been in retail. I was in retail for about 7 to 8 years. All sorts of retail, like fast-paced luxury retail as well. But in saying that, it also gave me a knack for customer service and sales. And then
Mm.
one time, actually, at my old job, I had a client come up to me and go like, "Oh, have you ever thought about doing recruitment? Because you're really good with people, like as a salesperson, and you're really good, like empathetic and everything." And I told her, "Oh, I'm studying HR." They're like, "Oh, you should try using be a recruiter." I was like, "Okay, yeah, give it a go." Give it a go, and then ended up really liking it, and then just
Yeah.
started a career from there. But I think the only thing is because my nature as a person, I've always wanted to help people around me,
Mm.
and I didn't have the brains to be a doctor or nurse or anything. Okay, so so I was like, okay, what else can I
Yeah.
do to improve the world? So I was like, okay, let's do HR. So I did HR, and then
Yeah.
became a recruiter. I was like, all right, let's just give it a go. Apparently, I had a knack for talking to people.
Mm.
So yeah, I
So it's
guess.
a bit of a combination of combining your studies with your sort of work experience that you'd done too at that point in the sales sort of retail world, right? And then combining it into that that career path.
Pretty much, I would say so.
And who was that person that mentioned recruitment to you? I don't think I knew that story actually. Who was that?
It was just like one of my clients at one of my stores that I used
Yeah,
to speak with. I'm not sure if I could mention her name, but like
that's right.
she was a very very lovely lady, and she was actually a HR recruiting for I think it was a construction company as well,
Okay,
actually.
like internal recruitment.
Internal recruitment,
Yeah,
yeah. And then we just had the chat, and then we just got on really well. So we just ended up having a talk about my degree, and then she was like, "Oh, when you finish your degree, you should come like talk to me. Maybe we could get you a spot in
yeah,
internal HR." I was like,
yeah.
"Oh,
Gotcha.
okay."
So what did you enjoy about your degree then?
I enjoyed about the degree. I guess I like to. I've always had a thing to like see what the processes are of a business.
Yeah.
like, you know, getting hired and then getting selected and then going through the whole process of it. I think for me, it's just like, oh, I went through, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I liked
Mm.
it. But I think I could never be the person to do internal HR because I don't think I would have the, how do you say, I feel quite intimidated to fire someone or let someone go because I'm quite a
Right.
empathetic and emotional person, as you know.
No, not you. No. Yeah. So, yeah, just the fact that wearing different hats in a HR role.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, nice. So back to sort of the present and working with us BMS and recruitment. What are you enjoying about it so far?
Meeting new people, you know, I have like so much like experience like talking to so many people from all different parts of like trades and everything,
Yeah.
learning a lot about the technical industry. Like before at BMS, I had no idea what, you know, like technical is or in what sense. I thought it was
Yeah.
technology, right? But then, you know, you and Adams taught me so much about the industry. It's like it's such a eye opener. I get eye opener
Yeah.
to see something different. And I learn a lot from my candidates as well. I always tell them like, you know, teach me. Like I learn a lot of things from you guys
Yeah.
when I have a chat with them. They're like, I know a lot about elevators these past few days. Elevators, pumps, and what was it? I think fabrication. Oh,
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like, what we do in our role, like even just like looking like a building or something like that in our industry, even before doing this job, I didn't even think about like how, the process of how that's sort of put together and how it all works with different sort of stakeholders in that. And like you say, it was definitely, that was for me a definite like added bonus of this job, like the learning you do from your clients and your candidates. Yeah, I completely agree. What else? Like, what about the actual day to day job? Like, what do you what you mentioned about helping people. Like, have you found that like does actually come true? Like finding it rewarding, like maybe finding a candidate a new role or something like that.
I find it super rewarding when I'm able to make a candidate feel comfortable to talk to me about things. Like just having
Yeah,
this, like picking up the phone, not even about like sometimes about the role we have on. It's just about them coming like, hey, how's your day going? You know, like how's your weekend and everything. I built like, I think I made some friends from my candidates that I actually placed, and that was it gave me a warm feeling to be able to
yeah,
get someone from somewhere that they didn't like being at and then getting them to somewhere that they was like their dream job type of thing.
yeah.
I think you know who I'm talking about, Joe.
I think I do. Yeah. But I think yeah, like it's definitely a really good skill you've developed and you've brought to the table in this role. I think you build really great relationships with your candidates, and it's sometimes that our industry gets a lot of stick for, as in recruiters don't really care about the candidates too much. They kind of see them as numbers and pushing them about just to hit their KPIs or whatever. Something you do really well is really get under the skin of actually listening to them. What do they want in the next job? What's important to them, and then trying to accurately match them to the roles that we have. And I think you do that really well by developing trust, in that relationship. And as you say, you're professional, but then also, you can have that sort of friendish, professional sort of mate-ish sort of vibe with someone
Oh
that,
yeah.
and that's also, you probably haven't realized that, like that's networking, right? What you're doing every time you're speaking and building relationships in your industry, it's all about networking and developing those relationships, and down the track that will just sort of compound, and you'll see the benefits of that a year or so, 2 years down the line, once you sort of keep going with it. So what about on the flip side, what have you sort of found challenging about the role? What have you not enjoyed as much?
I wouldn't say not enjoyed. I would say probably this role as something that I didn't really, I guess, like have a knack for. I think it taught me a lot of life lessons as well. Patience.
Mm,
Patience is very important in this role. And at first, I think you remember I was very like I was like, oh, I need this, that, I need that, this is everything. And I was like, oh, like why are they getting back to me and everything? And I'll get frustrated.
yeah,
And I think when Adam told me, it's just like, step back a little bit, have a little bit of patience. I think that's the one thing. I think shouldn't assume in this role
yeah,
is that like I think when I do assume, that's when I got like give myself quite false hopes, and
mm,
after that. And like say for example, I go, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. But manifesting is a great thing, but also just if you also put a lot of hope on something, you go like, oh, that didn't go well, and you're just like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think beginning for me was a bit of a wake up call.
As in, like, you wanted things to happen sooner?
Yeah, I wanted the things to happen sooner.
Yeah.
But as you said, as you always say, recruitment is a roller coaster.
Yeah, and it's especially the first. You've been great, as in you've already sort of hit the ground running and made a bunch of placements in your first 6 months, which is fantastic. A lot of people don't. That first 6 months is a real learning curve. You're just learning the ropes. You're making a ton of mistakes. You've come in and already, while you've wanted more, you've come in and made a few placements and already had a bit of success. So that's, to me, that's you're sort of ahead of the curve in terms of that process. Well, I think when you say about like the patience and stuff, it's just one of those. I think it's more about. I think what Adam was sort of alluding to is the control what you can control kind of thing. I know it's a bit cliche, but it's just about sometimes you can't. You can't always control maybe how fast the company maybe gives feedback, as an example. But what you can control is how you react to the speed that they gets back and how you deal with that. And I think that's just something. It's something everyone's working on. Something always to sort of remind yourself is just try and sort of control, what you can in this role, because otherwise you'll just end up, getting frustrated.
Yeah, for sure.
What about any sort of lessons you've learned? Things you've sort of, maybe, something I've never expected to. You touched upon something, maybe the market knowledge, but like stuff you've learned, maybe about yourself. Because I think I said to you day one, you're going to learn some stuff about yourself in this role. And anything spring to mind on that front?
Oh, I learned that I'm a very emotional person.
Well, you didn't know that already.
Well, I didn't think it was attached to like a role, right? Like I think like in general, I know I'm an emotional person, but like when it came to my candidates, I was just like, oh, I was like, whoa, like I'm actually so emotionally invested. Like I think I open up to like one of my really good candidates that I really open up to, and I was like, we were just on the call, we finished our interview, and we were just talking about very deep things, and like I think I ended up like we both ended up tearing up. So I was just like, wow, I'm actually quite emotional.
It's definitely like one of this part of the job. You've got to try and detach that sometimes, and it's just about managing your emotions. But I think the fact that you are emotional is good. Like we like that. It's not necessarily a bad thing because it shows you care. If someone genuinely like cares about what they do in recruitment, if you care about helping your companies or your clients and your candidates find a new role, that goes a long way. So rather than, say you genuinely want to find that candidate a new role, compared to, you just want to put that person in a job to get a recruitment fee and get yourself some bonus. When you actually switch to have that mindset of genuinely caring, I think that goes a long way. But like you said, managing emotions, something, it is an emotional roller coaster, this job, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Nice. So, what are your sort of, coming into the new year a little bit, into the role? What are you hoping to get out of this year? What do you see? What are you hoping to achieve this year, goal-wise, recruitment with us?
Goal-wise recruitment, I just want to have a good year, make sure like we hit all our KPIs and targets, but at the same time also keeping our candidates happy and everything, taking care of them, just check in and everything. Because I don't want the candidates that I placed and just become like a person, oh yeah, I placed you last year, I don't have to worry about you, I want to keep in contact with them. Relationship building, I'd say.
And what about personally? How do you want to improve? What do you want to see from yourself?
I think improving is like we did a bit of like a goal planning. I think I want to be a better recruiter. In a sense, it's just like it's good to like place candidates as well, but also at the same time, getting my admin done a little bit more better. But also, I wanna hit my targets.
What do you think the best way is you to do that?
Just time management, planning
Yeah.
what you want to do with your time. I think that's very important in recruitment. That's something that I learned. If you don't plan your time, things can go
Yeah.
obstruct, and then everything will just get interrupted, and then you forget things.
And how are you doing that at the moment? You kind of, do you have like you come in every morning and have like, right, this is the plan for the day between, whatever, 9 and 10, I'm doing this, 10, 11, I'm doing this.
Every morning, I try to like write on a piece of paper my day to day, like what I want to
Yeah.
do, and then I just observe the time. And then, of course, after talking to Adam about what the plan is for today, and attack it, and prioritize what I want to do,
Yeah.
and go from there.
It's a hard one, right? Because you can have all the plans in the world, but then in this job, some things can just come in and just completely disrupt the plan.
You just
Like
have to
you have
adapt to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's all. I don't know if you found this. It's all about sort of thinking on your feet and like, right, what's the top priority right now? Sometimes, like if a company just come in out of nowhere and right, we want to offer this candidate, but we need 2 references. All right, sort of drop everything, do 2 references, or this candidate, can't just calls you out of nowhere, like can't find the office location for the interview, blah blah blah, and you suddenly have to just drop everything and do that. It throws things. It throws things off track. What about, away from work? Like, what's the future hold for Levina Yu, personally, whatever, financially, what are you hoping to achieve, say this year or maybe the next couple of years?
Future. I want to travel to Japan as a
Oh,
short-term
really?
goal. Yeah. Won't be going there this year. As you know, I'm going to America, so
Yeah.
probably gotta save it for next year. I think Japan is like my ultimate bucket list to go.
Yeah.
And of course, getting my graduate certificate and everything by mid-year.
Yeah.
So I'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
And I guess I want to buy a property in the next couple of years.
Yeah. In Sydney?
Yeah, in Sydney.
Yeah.
But have some, I guess, bigger milestones in life.
Yeah, sure. And the trip to the US, when's that?
It's in May, mid-May.
Yeah. And whereabouts are you going in there?
Going to LA, San Francisco, New York, and Las Vegas.
Yeah, nice. Very good. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for talking through that. And I guess just one final question. This can go sort of one way. You can take this how you like, but something I'm trying to hone down on the show is, what is success? Like, what does success mean to different people? And you can take this, as I say, whichever way you like, personally, professionally, outside of work, whatever. But like, this is deep, by the way. What does success mean to you?
What does success mean to me? It's a loaded question, I'll tell you that. I think success to me, when you really feel successful, is that you get like this feeling. It's like this some sort of like adrenaline that rushes through your body and makes you so happy. It kind of makes you even feel like euphoric.
Yeah.
I think for me, success means to me is like that I'm happy and my candidates are happy and colleagues and clients are happy inside of work, right? But also outside of work in my life, I want all my friends and family to be happy, healthy, striving. That's what success would be to me.
Yeah. And so you get that feeling when others are happy or when you're happy?
When others are happy.
Yeah. Interesting. So say you do something really great yourself, do you get that feeling as well?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes like small wins are small wins, but when there's a big win, I sometimes just like to. I get emotional and I get happy tears.
Yeah. And what kind of things though? Like, what kind of things make you like get that feeling?
It could be the smallest things when you can just like, if say for example, like I don't know, like sometimes how birthdays, people like very love like celebrating birthdays.
Yeah.
Some people hate celebrating birthdays. I love my birthday. Not because of the celebration of me, but it's because, I've grown 1 year older and a bit more mature.
You've made it another year.
Made it
And
another year.
You get people together, right, as well.
Yeah, I like getting people together. I like people having fun, just taking a break. And I feel like we're all at that age where like sometimes like we're too busy with our own lives, we're working and everything, and we neglect the small things in life, you know, it's
Mm.
just having food and drinks with your friends, or you're like seeing your
Yeah.
family for the weekend.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, those like they're more like you're talking about like sort of treasuring moments, right? Rather than things.
Yeah, treasuring
Do you know what I
moments.
mean?
Yeah.
They're more important than I don't know, to me anyway. Like I know what you mean. Like I would prefer like moments or like memories and or like relationships with friends or whatever over some sort of thing, right? I don't know, like a material thing. That's just me. It sounds like you're similar.
I'm quite sentimental with you, must say.
Yeah, nice, cool. All right. Well, look, thanks for having a chat with me, Levina. I enjoyed that. Like I always said on this, I like to sort of maybe learn some things about my guests, which I didn't know before the chat, and I definitely got that with you. So, thanks for coming on my show. Thanks for having a chat with me. I said at the start of the chat, you know, you're coming in only like a few sort of months, 6 months into the role, you know, with us at BMS, but you know, Levina Yu on this show, rising star right here. So take note from what she said. Sorry, learn from it. I'm learning from her, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me, Joe.
All good.